Machine gunner.
Кипиш.
I'm just Castet.
Sid.
Bond.
Head.
Because he hits the head hard.
Сдавайтесь, это наша девятиэтажка.
Уже налево, ты туда. Чисто.
Приехал художник.
Artists showed up and said, a task just came in. We need to clean out a 9-story building.
Well, the task wasn't about one 9-story building. It was part of a larger plan. The bastards, if I'm not mistaken, were rolling in here freely, spreading out, and then starting to jump into different buildings. Our task was to clean out these buildings and cut off this access here.
We were always keeping an eye on what was going on. For example, on the first floor of one entrance, our guys were holding down the fort, and in the same building, down in the basement, the bastards were already set up.
The Ruskies were definitely in that building. We were working on it, and that was our building, the 5-story building, right?
Yeah, and there was a T-shaped building with the
The
bastards.
high-rise was also theirs, for sure. That building was split in half, right?
Yeah. The farthest entrance was ours. On the right, the farthest entrance.
Here's the school. This, and this were all theirs.
The plan was really simple. Everything was straightforward. We just had to get from the 5-story building to the first entrance. And from there, the rest of the job would take care of itself. And honestly, we pulled it off pretty well.
There was also the moment when they dropped us not at the 5-story we were supposed to start from. We had to cross a pretty dangerous section. This was the drop point, and this was the 5-story building we were supposed to start moving from to this 9-story one. But they dropped us at this 5-story.
Заходите туда, первый подъезд, если по возможности. Нет, продвигайтесь ко второму сразу же. Было принято решение.
We decided to cross the inner courtyard, but that was also dangerous because we were exposed to that 9-story building, which belonged to the bastards.
Горящий дом.
Well, when we were crossing, they started shooting at us.
Рухайтесь, голова, кипиш, рухайтесь.
By that time, we were already built up. We even spent some time talking with the backup. There were guys we had to bring into the 9-story building. The operation was supposed to start on signal. The signal was supposed to be an RPG shot at the first entrance door. While we were waiting for the moment, we had a quick briefing, and unfortunately, the briefing didn't even finish before an RPG hit. And the order came. Let's go!
РПГ, пацаны, работаем. Пошли.
You step out, and even though there's a fire support group, still, well, it's fun, I'll say that. You can't cover everything. Tons of open sectors. You go on alert, thinking that at any second, you could make contact and...
Рух. Простреливают.
Yeah, the first 4 went in. They went in with a grenade, of course. Took position on the first floor and waited for us to catch up with the second floor. We started working on the first floor.
Буря. Заход. Так, слева, справа двери открыты, пацаны. Справа двери открыты, слева двери немає. Пацаны, держу эти двери, один на лестницу, помощь, лестница.
Буря!
After we cleared the first floor, we moved to the second to make sure no asshole would come down and toss a grenade in our faces. We called in on the second 8-man team. They came in, worked the second floor. Meanwhile, they set up cover for the third floor. We swapped moved up to work higher, and they were just chilling, smoking a cigarette.
The challenge was that
There were 9 floors.
9 floors and 4 apartments per floor.
Every dangerous section or area is fired at. If there's a chance to, doors are closed, cabinets, sofas, fridges.
Прострел. Чисто. Чисто.
A story to lighten the mood. Oh, let Head tell his story.
My stomach was fucking twisted, like seriously, it was fucking awful. We cleared the first floor, another group went up to the second, and by the time we hit the third, I really had to take a shit again. So I waited until we'd cleared all the apartments, all the rooms, and I knew it was safe to chill for a second since the group moved up. I grabbed another apartment, then we went higher, and I took one more there. That's how it was.
Хорошо, блядь. Дивись на погони.
To avoid moving to the next entrance under the building because it was too risky, we decided to try making a hole in the wall and get in from the top to clean the entrance from top to bottom. The plan failed. An anti-tank mine took out the 8th floor, and basically, we couldn't get through anymore. We cleaned out the whole entrance, went down, pulled in the attachment. We waited, had a smoke, then we went back to work.
Что там?
The second entrance was locked from the inside. The doors were tied with laces and rubber bands. We tore them open by hand, basically. It wasn't that hard.
Пидоры, сдавайтесь, будете
We
жить!
went in, grenades flying, fire everywhere.
It was clear as day there were bastards in there. Their ammo was scattered around. Russian medals, ribbons, all that crap. When we came back from the mission, people watching the streams during our operation said that, yeah, when we went in, the bastards started escaping across the roof.
Also, when Baghdad yells, "Fuckers, this is our 9-story building,"
Пидорасы, сдавайтесь, это наша 9-этажка!
They realized they couldn't handle it.
they weren't going to make it out.
Расстрел! Пуля пошла. Так, я ухожу налево, ты сюда. Держу. Что там надо?
We got to the 9th floor and, decided to make a hole there too.
That's when the engineer tried to set up the anti-tank mine differently. There was a hole in the wall, but it wasn't tiny, so we had to put in another mine. Still, we had to work from bottom to top. We reached the third entrance with the first 4, and the doors were locked tight, not like the second one. We couldn't open them by hand, so we decided to have the fire support team try hitting them with one-time charges or FPV drones. We came back a second time, and the doors were still the same. After that, a second team with the same engineer went in. He set up a shaped charge. It worked. We went in for the third time, but by then, the whole entrance was on fire, and the walls were black. It was unreal.
Держу двери.
We went back to the second entrance and decided to wait a bit, hoping the fire would die down
We
somehow.
thought it would die down, yeah.
And maybe it would get a bit easier to finish up, but it only got worse, because the fire spread to the second entrance and started coming down the floors.
Ого, там падает.
The evac, as usual, showed up at the wrong place. We had to walk a bit further.
Because we're athletes.
We went back into the 5-story building. Climbing back in was actually pretty fun through a window. Turns out, it's not so easy in full gear. right, Kastет?
So I convinced myself I was such a badass that I could easily jump through this window with my backpack and AR. But it didn't go like that. I'm like, for the window, bam! Oops! Fuck! Fuck!
Пацаны,
I was like, guys, give me a hand! We came out the basement through the second entrance. We walked along this 5-story building and took cover behind it. There's a path here somewhere.
No. Here it is. We walked here.
Ah, here's the path. Yeah. We came from this corner, walking along the path. There were fucking trenches here.
I tripped there.
Plus, someone else ate shit there.
Yeah, me too.
We reached this little building and hid behind it, took position. It was getting hit by mortars, either this building or that one. Everything was burning so brightly. The Mavics started flying, and we went into the building. We found some old lady in there. What she was doing? No idea. The M113 came in with Spartan, and we loaded up and bailed. When we arrived, we hopped out of the armor, relaxed a bit, had a smoke.
We switched vehicles in Toretsk.
Drank some water, and then 2 of our Rochelles came in. We jumped in and headed home. The 9-story building burned for 2 days, and on the 3rd day, the bastards just leveled it to the ground.
I figured the bastards that were there probably pulled out of there. I don't know. Maybe when we were working there, they decided just to fuck it and blow it up.